We'll start off with my old trusty 400 D1. This is the second oldest driver in my bag. It's just one that I know that I can get full flight out of. I throw this thing pretty much exclusively for forehands. My flip up 400, maybe 350 to 410 type distance. This is the disc I go to more often than not. It's been seasoned for years, so it has a nice long glide, and I can trust it with hyzer without turning over too much. The other shot that I throw this thing for is big rollers, really aggressive rollers that I can throw with cut that don't stand up for a really long time. So for maximum distance, if I put this down with a lot of spin, it holds this line and it gives me maximum flight out of a roller. This disc I actually didn't throw as much this week as I normally would have, because I've developed a relationship with a very important driver, and we're going to get to that one in a little bit. But this has always been a go-to. I brought this out a few times this weekend, and it was trusty for me every time. And I hope that I don't ever beat this thing up too much, because I love where it's at. It's been at the same stability for over a year now, which is great. And it's always awesome to have a distance driver in your bag that you can trust for flip ups without cut rolling. This is my Team 700 series PA1. This is very overstable, very stiff. This was the disc that I threw on hole 1 all 3 rounds. It's the only time I threw it on the course. Actually, I threw it one other place, when I threw this on hole 1, I birdied the hole every time. And to start off that tournament with a birdie all 3 times, clearly there's no better way to start besides getting a hole in 1. And you know, so this is a confidence booster for me every round. This started my tournament, and I felt confident with this disc every time. It's stable. I can throw it with hyzer hard, and it just flies straight, and it gives me a predictable hyzer finish every time. So this disc has been huge for me for throwing approaches in the wind. And the only other time I threw this disc was actually when I missed the gateway hole, as they're calling it, the bamboo hole, hole 7. I threw this from the drop zone trying to make it. All 3 times I missed that hole. So I threw this thing 6 times, 3 times on 1 for birdie and 3 times for bogey on hole 7. So it actually neutralized itself. It's even par, but still very important. Here's my 400 F7. This is my roller disc. I threw this one all 3 times on hole 2. And I threw this as well on 888 once. And it was, it's just been a very trusty roller disc for me. I can throw it flat and put a lot of power on it and trust it to late flip and hit at that perfect angle that I know it's going to take a long time to stand up. And it was really great for me on hole 2 this week, because they have an out of bounds on the right side of the fence now, which if you throw too flippy of a disc, you're going to turn over and you're going to roll into that fence. You're going to be out of bounds. Well, what's great about the 400 F7 is that when I throw it properly and I land it at the correct angle, it stands all the way up, gets to the roller angle that you want for good distance, and right when a lot of understable fairway drivers start to turn over and fall over, this thing stays going straight and then falls this way. So it avoided going out of bounds to the right, which helped save me a stroke on the field. So very good roller disc. Also a great forehand technical disc for me in the woods. Not that I had to use that this weekend, but that's another good purpose for this disc. Here's my original test H1. This disc has been in my bag since I got it, and it has been, I've been beating it up ever since, because these things are so overstable brand new. They're great for thumbers brand new, and they're just great for headwind shots and approaches. I've been using this thing as my 250 and in approach disc when I have a lot of left to right space to throw a wide hyzer sidearm or a backhand. This disc has been so trusty for me. I was in the bullseye probably 10 times with this disc alone. The 2 times that we played 18 in long position, this was my approach disc, and I parked it both times. I use this to approach the greens on 9 and 10, and every time I threw this disc, it went exactly where it needed to go. Very trusty, great feel, nice rigid in the hands, incredible feel for the plastic, and very trusty. So very important disc. Here are my 2 approach discs. These were used for shots that were just closer than what I would use for the H1. Here is my 400G A2. This was given out, I believe, this year at Bowling Green, and my good buddy Kobe Geis got this one for me. It's been in my bag ever since. It's flat top, very overstable. I can put it, the best word for it for forehands is it corrects. You can't make mistakes with it almost. It's autocorrect. Have you ever had a problem with flutter? Throw this thing with sidearm and it flutters a little bit, it corrects itself and it still finishes with hyzer. So it's great for any kind of form. If you have difficulty with your forehand approaches, check this disc out. It's so great for your 200 and in approaches, and it's very reliable, very trusty, and it's a little bit more overstable than my 400G A4. This is something that I really like to throw. Again, it's low profile, so it has a very easy, good fit for my forehand. It's easy to release, feels really great in the hand, and it's straighter than the A2. So if I need something with a little bit less fade, if I don't want it to quite land on that angle so you get a little bit of skip and a little bit of action, this thing lands flat. So a very good point and shoot kind of disc, great for approaches. I use this to approach hole 15 for my approach all 3 times, and I birdied it all 3 times because this thing went exactly where I wanted it to. Here we go. These are the discs that everyone's been asking me about. These are the blue D2s. I had 2 of them in my bag this week, and I threw these all over the place. This disc has changed my confidence in a shot that I've not necessarily been the most confident with in my career, which is the low ceiling power drive backhand. I've typically had to resort on throwing a flip up sidearm for that shot. Developing my confidence with this disc has changed my play in so many ways. This is my understable one. Oops. This one is what I think I qualified for the distance showcase with. I think I threw this 579 feet into a headwind. Just throwing it low, out of the wind, no higher than 10-15 feet with a little bit of hyzer, and it just stood up and just held that wind and just slowly pushed over the whole way. But this was my confident 370 foot sidearm approach shot. This is the disc that I was throwing for any shot that I felt like I needed to land soft on a hill. If I wanted the hyzer a lot, I chose the newer one. It's a little bit more overstable, handled the wind a little bit better. I was using this one for bigger hyzers and headwind shots. On hole 12 off the tee from the Coliseum going downhill, we had a headwind all 3 times, and I chose this thing, ripped it with hyzer, and it just stood up, and without completely giving out all the way out to the right, it just held over on a really consistent line that you know it's going to land flat. But these 2 discs were crucial throughout the event, and I think that with a little bit extra glide that these have, more so than the D1, it gives me a little bit more distance, but still gives me the same reliable finish that I like with the D1. And last but not least are my 2 putters. I had missed a couple of short putts the first round, but after that I did really, really well. I didn't really miss too many putts that I considered to be boneheaded mistakes. I trusted these all week. These are my 350 G PA1s, and they're very well seasoned. They fly really straight now, and I made several putts outside the circle with these things this weekend, and I've had a lot of faith with these discs lately. I'm looking at these right now actually, and in the reflection from the sun I see the champagne that's all over it from the celebration on Saturday afternoon, so it's pretty cool. I still haven't cleaned them off yet. But yeah, these things have a great feel, very tacky. They're stiff, which is what I really like. I don't like my putter to really be kind of hanging down. I really like it to feel like I can just toss it like a brick and know that these things are gonna go exactly where I put them. And they've been really great for that lately.